I'm back with yet another video for my rambling series. I've decided to actually make it a series because I just love talking about myself and other topics around the world maybe. I have fun making these videos, so I'm coming back with another one and it's going to be great. We're going to have so many things to talk about. Today, we're going to talk about how Yomper and I met. Yomper from other videos and streams, right? And I'm going to say some Yomper stories, some funny stories or cool stories about me and Yomper hanging out, because we do actually hang out in real life, if you didn't know that. Well, first off, how we met, right? Yomper is my cousin, so I was kind of forced to meet him, and I'm fine with that. I'm completely okay with that. I don't mind meeting him as my cousin, If I had the choice between not knowing him and knowing him, I would choose knowing him because he's a funny guy. So I think the most appropriate thing to start with is how funny his father is. I'll go over to stay at his house a little bit, and his dad will say the most out-of-pocket shit, right? We just made this whole bit about repeating whatever he said that weekend, if it's funny enough, and it would drive him nuts, and I felt bad for it. I felt bad for driving him crazy, but he just doesn't understand the thing, that the things he says is really funny. And so this dude would always say, "What are you doing?" even though it's very apparent of what we're doing. He'll walk into the kitchen, right? Yomper was eating. He was like, "What are you doing?" And Yomper said, "I'm eating a salad." And his dad said, "You sick fuck." And I couldn't hold myself back. I had to start laughing. And it made Yomper laugh. We both started laughing just so much. Because, why? Who would say that? Who the fuck would say that you're a sick fuck for eating a salad? That's just blatantly funny. And I'm glad that happened because we still talk about it sometimes. But you might feel bad for his dad, and you should, because he shit his pants one time. Actually, it was multiple times. He shit himself in a restaurant, and I feel bad for that, But you're never gonna know Yomper's father, so that's good. And then he just shat himself in the garage, and it was funny. I wasn't there for either of them, but Yomper told me extensively about it, and I'm glad he did, because it's so fucking funny, dude. We talk about it all the time. That's not true. We actually don't talk about it all the time. We do have this one cool story, right? I was there, right? We were going to Walmart to pick something up, food, because we were just hanging out on the couch watching a movie. So we're yeah, we need some shitty food to eat. So we walk into Walmart, right? And Yomper lives in a pretty populated area, right? So there's a lot of psychos. So some dude came in with a gun, right? A pistol. And Yomper and I heard gunshots, and we were on the other side of the store, but we were trying to get the fuck out of there. So we booked it to an exit, right, which was still near the front of the store. So we were yeah, we need to get to the front of the store, and that's where the gunman was, So we were sneaking through the aisles. We were trying to be really quiet, and people were freaking out, on the floor and shit. And then while the gunman was turned around, talking to some lady who was please, I have kids, Yomper came up behind him and then knocked his ass out. He just beat this man senseless, And I grabbed the gun and I held this dude at gunpoint, and Yomper called the cops. And it was cool. It was so fucking cool that night. So the police thanked us, No one was hurt or injured. He just fired the gun into the air, because this dude's a fucking crackhead, That was the cool story, This reminds me of another story, right? Yomper and I had gone to a funeral together. It was tragic. I still miss him. But after the funeral, how everyone eats, hangs out, celebrates his life, with a nice feast. So like there was this little league baseball game going on next to the venue where we were eating, and we were just sitting in the car waiting for everyone to get there before we start eating. So we're just watching this baseball game of like little kids, and it was entertaining. I'm really not into sports, but watching these little kids play, it felt nice, you know. They were doing something they liked. And out of nowhere, this very little child steps up to the plate, right? He hits the ball and he just books it to first base, you know. This dude was going off. By the time he gets to first base, Yomper said, "Little guys are always the smallest." He said that. He said little guys are always the smallest. And everyone in the car was just so taken aback. Like, this profound statement. How could it be? Little guys are always the smallest. Everyone just died laughing. It was so funny. It didn't make any sense, but he said it so confidently. I had no doubt in my mind that little guys are always the smallest. So much so that we put it on a bumper sticker and kept talking about it for a year. And it's still funny. I just can't laugh at it anymore because of how old it is. And we did actually put those bumper stickers on our car, and people look at them all the time. Yomper and I used to play Warzone, right? But not like the Battle Royale, like Modern Warfare 2019, the multiplayer. It was very fun. We had a lot of funny moments on there, and I really wish we would have recorded it, and I wish I could remember anything about it, but my memory is terrible. We definitely got to play that on stream sometime, so we might just do that. We might just play Warzone on stream sometime. It got really funny, you know. I remember this one time, Yomper was grinding out for the Damascus camo, the mastery camo for Modern Warfare, and he was busy doing assault rifles. You know, they take a while to do because there's so many different guns, right? So he was on the FAL, right? Which is a decent gun in that game. It's actually worth using. So he was just in the gun editor, right? And he made this odd creation. It was an odd creation. And we decided to call that creation Chode And you'll never guess why we called it Chode. It's because it was very short and it looked like a chode. That's about the blunt of it. That's about how far that rabbit hole goes. And we'll probably bring it back for a bit on Warzone streams if we do decide to do Warzone streams. So there's that. You can look forward to Chode. And then I probably should have said this story earlier, right? Back whenever Yomper took down an active shooter, right? We actually helped a police team investigate a murder. And that sounds like cool, but I don't mean it like we actively went to a crime scene and looked for clues like a detective. We just gave them some very valuable information. One of the local residents around Yomper's neighborhood is actually involved with a gang, and he thinks he's a blood, and he very well might be. He could very well be a blood, right? We like to mess with this guy, right? So we called him up and we posed as a record company, and this record company wanted to hire him because this guy made music, some very good music. So we hired him up, and now we call him, and he gives us a lot of information that got him put away because he had murdered somebody, a Crip, I suppose, if I were to guess. And we had asked him about a potential gang member dying around the area, and he told us that that was him and his homies. So we informed the police immediately via anonymous tip, so it's not very anonymous now, but we got a very dangerous person put away on that day. I think this is enough stories for this video. It's getting pretty long, so I'll see you guys later, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. See ya.